Hello and happy Monday to you, everybody. Here's what's coming up tonight on Now. Pot delivered to your home. It's actually a thing. We will talk about it.
Plus, the housing market doing really well right now, but it's actually kind of a double-edged sword. We'll explain.
And some culinary kids from Maine doing pretty well on the national level.
This is News Center Now.
We hadn't talked since the whole incident actually happened, the night the incident happened. It wasn't a very nice conversation that it ended with because she was very upset with me for turning her in about the dog, about Cam.
Ariana Rollins speaks about her sister Marina's death after the veteran was accused of tying her dog to a tree and shooting it. Good evening, everyone. I'm Amanda Hill.
And I'm Lee Goldberg. Marina Rollins was living in North Carolina but grew up in Windham. Police say she and her boyfriend, Jaron Hang, an active duty soldier, tied the dog to a tree and took turns shooting it while filming each other committing the violent crime. Over the weekend, Marina was found dead in her apartment by friends. Police say it appears she took her own life. Ariana says she's the one who alerted authorities to the crime after her sister sent her the violent video. More from our conversation with her, including how the family is coping with Marina's death. That's coming up later on News Center. Obviously a much lighter topic now, and the temperatures outside not heating up at all, but at least one industry is sizzling a little bit.
If you're looking for a home, you know that finding one right now is not so easy. Adrienne Stein is here to tell us a little bit more about why that is.
Yeah.
Hey, Adrienne.
Hi, guys. Realtors say inventory is tighter than just about any time they can remember at this point. In Cumberland County, for example, comparing this April to last, sales of single-family homes are down, not due to lack of interest. Realtors say it's lack of inventory. Those houses are in high demand. Prices up from $251,000 to almost $300,000 in just 1 year. Similar trends are happening all across the state right now. It can be a tough spot for buyers, and there's a perhaps surprising downside of these hot properties for sellers, too. The screen scroll.
Oh, look at this one.
Ed and Ashley Bernard are used to it.
Yeah, I don't like it.
Listing after listing after listing.
We're on the hunt for a house.
The newlyweds want to buy their first home.
I think for us, we really wanted to settle our roots in Maine.
It's tough to get planted, though. Big yard, open concept, all things they hoped for in a first home, now growing out of reach.
Specific, I feel like this market makes you not be specific.
On the hunt for 3 months, so far, 3 offers outbid.
We found that we are not the only people, I guess, looking for the same things.
We do not have enough inventory on the market right now.
Raylene Estabrook is the Bernard's realtor.
For the most part, we're seeing a lot of multiple offers in the greater Portland area. If sellers do their job and price it right and get it ready to sell, they more than likely are going to see it gone within the first 5 days.
They're all going for like $20,000 or $30,000 over asking price, which is crazy.
Multiple offers and quick sales sound like great news for sellers, right? Estabrook says not so fast.
It absolutely is a double-edged sword for sellers because right now we have a lot of sellers who are sitting on the fence. They're kind of resisting putting their homes on the market because their biggest fear is, where do I go once my home sells?
That leads to less inventory, and the cycle continues, leaving buyers like the Bernards searching, waiting, and hoping they'll find a place to call home. Of course, the tightest price point is $250,000 and under. That is the traditional first-time buyer range. And while it does sound like it is a seller's market, Estabrook says don't get greedy. The price still needs to be in line with actual value for it to sell fast. For buyers, be ready to act fast. She says get pre-approved with a reputable lender. So if it is a multiple offer situation, your offer is the one that stands out. It is a tough spot to be in for buyers right now.
And I've been through this. Getting a mortgage is a really hard process. It is certainly not easy to do.
And it's something you need to start early on, particularly when you're talking about your credit score. In fact, a key part of getting a mortgage is knowing your credit score now, and there are some things that you may be doing to mess it up without even knowing it. Financial planner Sarah Halpin says if buying a home is in your near future, get that score in line now.
It may have an impact on what kind of interest rate you're going to be offered by a lender. So certainly knowing your credit score and improving that credit score is a very important aspect of your financial life.
Your score ranges from 300 to 850 points. The higher the better in this one. Halpin says there are 3 things you can do now to boost that score. Most importantly, pay your bills on time. Everything from late cell phone bills to outstanding parking fines that can mess up with your score. Avoid opening store-issued credit cards. Interest rates, they're usually higher on those, and then there are lower limits on those as well. So if you carry a high balance, that actually hurts your credit score. And don't close unused cards. When you close those cards, you're reducing total available limit, and that also could hurt your credit score. It's a lot to take in. You know, Halpin says that the key really is to have very low or even no balances on your credit cards. We, by the way, put some sites up on our website, so if you would like to check your credit report, you can do that.
That is interesting. I didn't know about closing cards. I would think that would help, but
you would think that it's kind of counterintuitive, isn't
Right.
it? But they want to see that if you have a high limit, you can still keep a low balance and pay on time. You don't want to max it out.
Oh, it's a lot of math. All right.
Your brain
it is
hurts, I know.
not all sunshine and roses in the real estate market. In fact, a new report shows that overall, Maine has been slow to recover from the 2008 housing crisis, with foreclosure activity still higher than pre-recession levels. Analysts say that the state has a foreclosure process that can take years to complete, and the peak rate of foreclosures was much higher in Maine compared to the national average.
Not all sunshine in the weather either, but when we do see those brief moments, it's beautiful.
There's a tie-in to real estate there too. Realtors tell me it's much harder to sell on an open house day that looks like today. So the next week or so, not as good. You can see that rain moving through Bangor, out of the Portland area for the most part, just rotating through the mid-coast. Look at this back here. A little bit of snow out here in the Adirondacks. Actually, it is hitting the ground. I just checked a web camera out at Whiteface Mountain, which is in Lake Placid, New York, upstate New York, and it is snowing, has been snowing there for a couple of hours. So if you don't like the rain, could be worse, could be snowing. Upper level low, look at this thing from Quebec down into Boston and just on the tail edge of New York. You know, the unfortunate thing, it's really just the Northeast that's going to deal with the clouds and the showers over the next few days. The Ohio Valley and Great Lakes are in great shape, much nicer, much warmer. Here, 40s, 50s, that'll about do it. Temperatures don't drop that much tonight. Some good news though, guys. I think we'll see a lot more sunshine tomorrow. Still a few showers, but more sunshine than today.
All right, thanks, Keith. It's a busy morning in Augusta. Lawmakers listened to a public hearing about Governor LePage's proposed Narcan bill.
The bill would require towns and cities to keep track of who gets the heroin antidote and, more importantly, how many times they get it. The governor thinks that people who are revived with naloxone more than once should be billed, and if a municipality does not do that, well, then the town would be charged $1,000 per incident.
The governor believes that unlimited free doses of naloxone produce a sense of normalcy and security around heroin use that serves only to perpetuate the cycle of addiction.
If it's somebody that's continually abusing the system and they have to be Narcan 10 times or something crazy like that, absolutely they should start paying for it. The chances that they're actually going to pay for it, probably not going to happen.
The Maine Municipal Association, which represents every town and city in our state, opposes the bill, saying those potential fines and penalties will cost taxpayers more than the Narcan itself. A dog is killed, 2 women injured during an attack at a planned play date. According to the York County Sheriff's Office, 2 women in Acton had planned to meet up with their dogs yesterday morning. The homeowner's 12-year-old mix named Kramer was attacked by the visitor's dog, reported to be a pit bull, biting the smaller dog in the neck until it died. Both women were injured trying to stop the attack. Officials say the pit bull was recently rescued. It is now under quarantine.
Route 1A in Frankfort in Waldo County is shut down in both directions for a deadly crash involving a box truck and a vehicle. Investigators remain at the scene right now, piecing together what happened. The names of those involved have not been released, but we do know a woman was killed in that crash. A priest from Waterville is removed from the church. He's accused of sexual abuse of a minor. Father Larry Jensen, who was at St. Joseph's Maronite Catholic Church in Waterville, has been connected to the abuse in Connecticut 15 years ago. All right, forget about the pizza. How about having pot delivered to your front door?
How many deliveries do you think we've had?
We usually do like anywhere from like 6 to 10 a day.
A couple of people in Maine started a business doing just that.
Plus, you've heard the term fake news. How about alternative news? You might be reading it. We'll talk about that later on Now.
All right, a couple of people in Portland say they will deliver pot right to your front door.
Now, it is not legal to sell recreational pot yet, but they're getting around that by just charging a delivery fee and giving away the pot for free. Jessica Gagne spoke with them about their recreational marijuana delivery service.
That's right. Like you said, it's not yet legal to sell recreational pot, but it is legal to give it away, and that's what Logan and Ashley from Elevation 207 are building their business on. The company's Facebook page clearly says in a few different places that the pot they are delivering is a free gift, and any charges are for the delivery fees. Those costs range from $75 to $250 depending on how much cannabis is delivered. Logan Martin Fisher started delivering recreational marijuana in the Portland area in February, and he says business is booming.
6 to 10 deliveries a day and no sign of slowing down.
There's no way for people to really get it like the recreational way, so they come to us.
Elevation 207 will deliver this marijuana to your door.
That's half an ounce.
But Logan Martin Fisher says they're not technically selling it to you.
It's weed for donations.
Giving their product away, but charging for the delivery based on how much they have to transport.
The extra weight, that really adds to our gas mileage, so the delivery fee has to go up.
They say most of their clients are older and new to the marijuana world. They want to try it, but don't know how to get it.
I mean, that's kind of how we're giving access to for people, you know, until the laws sort themselves out.
And so far, they say the company hasn't felt any pushback from the authorities.
They pretty much tell me they don't care.
Yeah, I think anyway, like we handle it, it's going to be kind of in a gray area, but we are doing it
as right as possible.
As right as possible, yeah.
Now, as far as the legality surrounding all this, I spoke with Christopher McCabe, who practices in the areas of medical marijuana and business law. And he says there are a lot of gray areas, but if this business model were to be put to the test in court, these two could run into some issues. He says it's like giving away a Ziploc bag full of pot and charging $40 for the bag. The court may determine that it's not a fair market price for a plastic bag, but to his knowledge, the theory hasn't been tested yet in court here in Maine.
All right.
Original.
Yeah.
Original.
Hey, coming up, we're talking about one of those topics journalists love the most.
There's fake-ish news. There's faker news, more fake, less fake. Maybe it's not fake at all. Maybe it's biased.
Hear from one man who runs what he calls an alternative news website.
And Keith will be back to talk about hopefully some alternative weather. Yeah, we'll see him in a bit. Back, everybody. Over the last year or so, the phrase fake news has become really popular. You've probably heard it and wondered, okay, what is that?
Yeah, so earlier today, Facebook published a series of ads in newspapers in Britain advising users on how to spot fake news online. When it comes to the internet, it's hard to know what to believe.
But the editor of one self-proclaimed alternative news website says he has a motivation that's beyond his message.
The boundary between the real and the fake is maybe less easy than you think it is. Intentionally disseminated bad information. There's fake-ish news. There's faker news, more fake, less fake. Maybe it's not fake at all. Maybe it's biased.
Promoting freedom and sustainable society. We have a stated mission. It's open up on our website. If it goes super viral, they can do really well in a single article. I like to think of journalism as activism. We're not the sole source of information that everybody should go to. We're a voice out there in a stream of voices where a lot of people are putting out fake news and deceiving people into spreading it. Sometimes these views that we put out there can easily be written off by people who they expose by just labeling us fake news. Call us out. If you think it's fake, try to prove that, you know, and they're not going to be able to, which is why we're not, you know, we're not fake news.
The internet has made it increasingly possible for other voices and other perspectives and other interpretations of events to be published and to be made widely accessible. And sometimes the mainstream media says that these alternative outlets are fake news, and sometimes these alternative outlets claim that the mainstream media is fake news.
Okay, do you think you could spot the facts? We've posted a news quiz online and some tips on how to spot fake news stories. You can find that on our website or our mobile apps.
My only problem with that is I think the way it's being used is just anytime you don't agree with something, it's fake news. Like, there is legitimate fake news. And then they're like, I don't like today's forecast. Like, fake news.
Yeah.
I wish it were fake.
Yeah.
You guys don't want to touch this 10-foot pole. I get it. I'll take the heat. It's fine.
Yeah.
Let's go.
I think we're over the weather.
Yeah. Well, yeah.
It's just, you know.
It's just kind of bumming us out.
You're going to be like this until Friday. When I come in, it's going to be nice out.
All right.
So that's how you're going to feel about me.
I feel like a Cookout Friday might be coming up here.
Cookout
Cookout
yeah,
Friday
I missed the last one.
Chef
you
Boyer Lee.
You guys made some stuff. Right on the weather deck. All right, some showers out there right now. Some of these on the heavier side. We talked about some snow across Saranac Lake and back to the west as well. No snow here, but cold rain. And Rangeley, Weather Watcher in Rangeley said they did see a few flakes there earlier this afternoon. So cold enough in that part of the atmosphere to produce that. Look at this upper level low swirling. You can see the motion of it. The center of the low probably just to the north and west there of Quebec. And you can see that it's nice and clear across the Ohio Valley. Unfortunately, we're going to stay under the influence of this big upper level low for the next couple of days. But within that, there'll be variation. So today was a cloudier day for most of us, just a peak of sun here and there. I think that tomorrow is a generally brighter day. So take a look at tomorrow on our small scale computer model tomorrow morning. Notice there's a decent amount of clear skies here. Certainly not a sunny start to finish day, but there is more sunshine to be had tomorrow as the upper level low kind of goes through a pivot point and pivots away from us a bit. And same deal on Wednesday. You can see some sun on Wednesday, particularly over southern Maine. Most of the showers on Wednesday over northern and down east Maine. So I think of the 3 days, today is the worst one with the most showers, and we'll see more sunshine on Tuesday and Wednesday. Overall, though, not a great pattern to be in. Low comes through, sits here for the next couple of days, and even when we get this low out of here, another one tries to come in for later on in the weekend and into next week. So it's not a pattern you'd like to see. High pressure blocking us to the north and east, and that doesn't keep things moving in the atmosphere. You know, all that being said, you look forward about a week as far as rainfall, you're only looking at about a ½ an inch in most spots. So the rain is not heavy, it's just annoying and it's sporadic and it's harder to plan things around. So I've developed this graphic here to give you an idea when the best chances of rain are through the week. And you can see that Thursday is kind of the heavier weighted shower day. Certainly there's a chance on Tuesday and Wednesday, and then Friday might be our first dry day since last Thursday, which is kind of depressing because technically yesterday, although it was decent, did have some rain. So there you go. I'm thinking Friday's good. I think at least 2/3 of Saturday is nice. We might be looking at rain in the late afternoon and into the evening on Saturday. Mother's Day at this point, not looking great. Showery. It's not as bad, not the stereotype, but you know, a lot of times for Father's Day, you're like, hey, Dad, you want to go golfing or something like that. Mother's Day shouldn't be as big an impact weather-wise.
All right.
Yeah.
Well, guess you can't go out golfing on Mother's Day.
Although
Sorry,
Jess did
Mom,
ask me
you don't
about
get
that.
to go out.
Your mom golf? Yeah. So.
Yeah.
So she wants to go.
So she was going to do it.
Yeah.
All right. Well.
Yeah, you just ruined that dream. Thanks, Keith.
Yeah.
A controversial Netflix series has been renewed for a second season, 13 Reasons Why, based on a book written by Jay Asher about a young girl who kills herself and then leaves behind 13 audio tapes detailing how the actions and inactions of her classmates led to her death.
The show has been criticized by some suicide prevention advocates, school psychologists, and educators who say the show may lead vulnerable young viewers to harm themselves. It's very popular among teenagers. According to Variety magazine, it is the most tweeted about Netflix show this year. Season 2 expected to drop next spring.
All right, News Center at 5:30, going to drop in about a minute. Cindy Williams here to tell us more about that.
That's right, guys. Hi there. Here's some of what we're working on for News Center at 5:30. That cabbie who got stabbed in Portland. Well, the man accused of doing it is going to court in his first court appearance. So now that Maine has the Real ID law, what does that mean for your license? Find out what steps you and the state will have to take to be in compliance. Plus, we're going to introduce you to a little girl who's spreading sunshine everywhere she goes, one delicious bite at a time. News Center now continues in a moment.
Do not be surprised if some high school kids from Maine get asked to cook dinner for their parents, their siblings, their friends, and I think maybe all of us here at News Center.
Yes, please come on over. The team from Northern Penobscot Tech Region 3 has placed among the very best high school culinary teams in the U.S. The team from Lincoln earned the right to be a part of a national competition in Charleston, South Carolina. And guess what? They finished in 10th place.
All right, Kiara Mishu, Shelby Powers, Sarah Greeton, and Tyler Arnold had to prepare their 3-course meal in an allotted time using their own ingredients, a 2-burner stove. Congrats to the kids, and please let us know when you would like us to come on over.
Yeah, you know, bring some food over. We'll take it, right?
No, seriously, please. Let us know.
All right, today's brain drops. This is an image from NASA that was taken in March of Lake Natron, Tanzania. And that is not color enhanced. That is the color of this lake.
Wow.
Very interesting. Let's show you another picture of the lake. And this one also not color enhanced. Look at this. So the deal is surrounding volcanoes put out a molten mixture of sodium carbonate and calcium carbonate that react and they cause this bacteria to show up. The bacteria, as it turns out, is red like that. It also creates a pH balance of 12 there. So most animals cannot survive there. In fact, a photographer went there and took pictures of these calcified birds that landed on or near this lake.
Oh, yeah.
They think that the reflective nature of the lake confuses them, so they end up landing on it or near it, and then they basically, essentially, get acid to death.
Makes
and
the Jersey Shore look swimmable.
In time. Really, really beautiful, but just kind of a crazy phenomenon that occurs there, and that's what it looks like from space.
That's amazing.
Anybody for a dip?
I'm good.
Skinny dipping takes a whole new meaning there.
News Center 5:30 starts now.